Okay. So, good morning and welcome back, everyone. It's time for this week's lesson. I'm Nagi and I'm your natural English coach. So, let's see. Just checking to make sure that my microphone is working and that the sound levels are good. Okay, good. So, here's our word for today. And this word is one of those words in English that sounds very different than it looks like it's spelled, right? There are many different words in English that do that because English words come from all different kinds of languages, not just one. So, how would you pronounce this word? Try it now. So you might think that because there's the Q sound in there, you might think it sounds like critique or something like that. But it's not. The way we pronounce this word is critique. Critique. With the stress on the second sound. See how down below? Critique. Critique. This word comes from French, so they have a different way of pronouncing words, even when that word is in English. All right, so what is a critique? Well, let's look at our whiteboard here for a second. So we have this word critique. So my question to you is this word a noun, a verb, or an adjective? So is this word a noun, a verb, or an adjective? The answer is, it is a noun, a critique. So this word is related to this other word, criticize. And this word is a verb, to criticize someone or something. So to criticize someone or to criticize something means that you find the problems or the weaknesses with that thing and explain it to somebody else, right? So for example, if you criticize somebody, you might say, oh, he's not very responsible, or oh, she's not very good at math, right? So criticizing can be many different things. Or you can criticize something, right? Like, that house is kind of run down looking. It's kind of dirty looking. Or maybe you could say, oh, that company is dishonest. So criticizing is basically just pointing out or explaining the problems or the weaknesses of something. And a critique is basically that action or that thing that you do as a noun. So you could say that he gave a harsh critique of the movie, meaning that the person talked about the movie's problems and flaws very intensely. All right. So here's a couple of questions for you. Number one is, do you like reading critiques of books or movies? So there's many websites online that you will see that, especially when like a new movie or a new book comes out, some people do not want to go see the movie or they don't want to buy the book until they have heard from other people, is this good or not, right? And there are many websites. Sometimes they're personal blogs, but sometimes they're very big websites that do critiques of books and movies so that other people can see. They think, oh, is this a good movie? Is this something that I want to go see? So they will read the critique first. So the question is, do you like reading critiques of books or movies? As for me, it depends. Sometimes I do want to read a critique or to look at a critique of a movie or a video game or a book that I'm interested in, because I'm just not sure if I will enjoy it. So I want to find out that if a lot of people think it's bad, maybe I won't buy it, right? Although sometimes, especially with movies, sometimes I just want to not hear anything about it. I don't want to listen to other people's opinions before I go see it, because I want to make my own opinion about it, right? So, how about the second question here? How do you feel when other people critique a book or a movie you like? So, if you have like a favorite book or a favorite movie or a video game or TV show or anything, right? Music, something like that. How do you feel if you hear someone else say, "Oh, it's really bad. I don't like it. It's really stupid," right? Or it doesn't have to be that bad. It can just be, "Oh, I think these are the problems with it," right? I don't think it's very good because there are these problems. How do you feel about that? So for me, it depends again on the particular book or movie or video game or music that somebody is critiquing. Usually I try to be very open-minded about critiques, although sometimes if it is my very favorite thing, sometimes it's kind of hard to listen to. All right, let's check out our dialogue here. So as usual, I will give you first the chance to read the line yourself, and then I will read it, and then you try it again after hearing me pronounce the words. So first, please read the top red. Okay. What have you been reading lately? Try it again. All right. Now go ahead and read the first blue line. The first blue lines. Okay. I'm reading an exciting story right now. It takes place in Victorian England. Try it again. All right, good. Now go ahead and read the middle red line. Okay. Neat. Is it based on a true story? Okay, try again. Okay, now go ahead and read the bottom or the last blue lines. Okay. No, it's actually a satire of an earlier, more popular book. What are you reading? The word in the bold is satire. Satire. Go ahead and read it again. Okay, and go ahead and read the final red line now. Okay. I'm reading a critique of modern economics. The book summarizes a lot of information quickly. Go ahead and try one more time. All right, good. So there's probably a few words that you might not recognize because they're not very common words that we use in English, but they're very useful, especially when you're describing books or movies. So let's review them now. First one is takes place in. So when we use the phrase takes place in, we are talking about an event or a story and where that story happens in the world. Although sometimes the place where it happens is not in the real world because maybe you're talking about a fiction story or a fantasy story, right? In that case, the location or the place where it happens is not in the real world, but somewhere else in a different made-up world, right? That the author has created. So here's a couple of examples. Go ahead and read the first example now. Okay, this story takes place in ancient Rome. So you see how the story that you're reading, the location and the time that it happened is ancient Rome. Go ahead and try the second sentence now. Okay. I wish more movies took place in the far future. All right, try it again. All right, good. That one's pretty easy to understand. Next one is based on. Something is based on something else. So this is the case where if you have two different stories or two different things, for example, a book and a movie, a lot of movies are based on books, which means that they take the story from the book and use the same story for the movie. They might make some changes to the story in order to make it a different movie or in order to make it look better in the movie, but if something is based on something else, it means it takes the main parts or the important parts from the story of one thing and uses it for something else. So go ahead and read the first sentence. Okay, they're making a movie based on this book. Try it again. Okay, now go ahead and try the second line. Okay, I heard this book is based on the author's real life. So it doesn't just have to be stories. Things can also be based on real events or based on true events. You'll probably see that phrase a lot if you watch a lot of movies. You'll often see that phrasing because movies that are sometimes fiction are based on things that actually happened in history, in which case they will say based on true events or based on real events. Obviously, it's not exactly what happened because probably they didn't have a camera and they didn't make a movie while the event was happening, but the idea is that the movie or the book or whatever is supposed to be recreating the story of what actually happened in history. All right, now back to our initial word, critique, right? Critique. So again, a critique is an explanation of the problems or the weaknesses of some piece of media, if it's a book, music, video game, movie, that kind of thing. So go ahead and try the first line. Okay. I think this movie is a critique of modern life. So in this case, there maybe is a movie that, with the themes, the things that happen, and the message of the movie is a way of showing the problems of the real world, right? All right, try it one more time. Okay, good. Now go ahead and try the second line. Okay, This reviewer's critiques are always too harsh for my taste. So, a person who critiques movies or books or something like that is usually called a reviewer. So, those are the people who oftentimes are paid professionally to do these things because a lot of people respect their opinions. Alright, now here is a word that maybe not too many of you know. The word is satire. So satire is a kind of story that is meant to, in some ways, critique a different kind of story. So instead of a reviewer critiquing a story, it's actually another story that is critiquing the first story. And usually it's often done in a funny way. It often uses humor in order to make its point by showing how ridiculous something is. So kind of making something funny that is supposed to be dramatic. So I'm not sure, I don't know enough about Japanese movies or books to know any famous satires, but there's plenty in the English language. And they can sometimes be very difficult to read because you have to have an understanding of what it is that they are making fun of or critiquing, right? So go ahead and try the first sentence now. Okay. Many people take this movie seriously, even though it's supposed to be a satire. Try it again. Okay, good. Now try the second sentence. Okay. Satires are useful because they help us see the problems with our societies. Go ahead and try that again. Okay, and on to our last word, summarize. So to summarize something is an action, so it's a verb. I summarize something. You summarized something. However, the noun form is a summary. So a summary is basically a short explanation of something that is longer, usually like a story or an article or anything that is kind of like long and takes time to read or hear, something like that. So if you summarize something, you're basically explaining the main points in a shorter amount of words. So go ahead and try the first sentence. Okay, please summarize your opinion in 50 words or less. Try it again. Okay, now try the second one. Okay, this review summarizes the movie's plot very well. All right, now time to try these again. So once again, you try it first, and then I will say it after you, and then you try it one more time. So go ahead and say the top red part. Okay. What have you been reading lately? Try it again. Okay, good. Now go ahead and try saying the first blue part. Okay. I'm reading an exciting story right now. It takes place in Victorian England. Takes place in. Try it again. Okay. Now go ahead and read the middle red part. Okay. Neat. Is it based on a true story? Is it based on? Try it again. Okay. Now go ahead and read the bottom blue part. Okay. No, it's actually a satire of an earlier, more popular book. What are you reading? The word is satire. Go ahead and try it again. Okay, good. Now go ahead and try the bottom red part. Okay. I'm reading a critique of modern economics. The book summarizes a lot of information quickly. Try it one more time. Okay, nice job. So, as per usual, let's try some of these questions now that you've practiced the phrases a few times. So our first question is, what time period does your favorite book take place in? So maybe you like books that are about the present day, right? Or maybe you like books that are about the medieval era, right? Many hundreds of years ago. Or maybe you like books that are just set in like the 50 years ago. Or maybe you like books that are set in the far future. So what time period does your favorite book take place in? Okay, so our second question here, how would you summarize what you did today? So think about all the things you did today and try to just explain the most important parts very quickly. For example, I went to work today, I went out for lunch, I met up with my friend, right? Only the most important parts. So go ahead and try it. Okay. And let's look at the third question down below. What is the last movie you saw that was based on a book? So maybe you haven't seen a movie in a while, but try and think about the last movie you saw or one of the last movies that you saw, and do you know if any of them were based on a book? Try and answer now. Okay, good. Couple more questions. First one is, what is a book or movie you can think of that satirizes something? This might be a tricky one, but think back to all the books you might have read in school as well, because many literature classes, people have you read books that are satires. So think about it. What is the last book or movie you can think of that satirizes something? Okay. And our last question is, what is a common critique of your favorite book or movie? So think about what you hear other people say that they think is a problem or a weakness with a book or a movie that you really like. Go ahead and answer now. Okay, good. So again, if you need more time to answer these questions, remember that if you're watching this as the video on YouTube, you can pause it and then you have as much time to answer as you need to. You could also write down the questions and then practice them during the week. So if you're not ready to try and say your question, to say your answer directly, sometimes what helps is trying to write down your answer first, then you can review your answer and then try practicing saying it. Everything should be at your own pace because that's how you learn. All right, last thing is some review time of the previous week's lesson. So again, those are a pronunciation lesson with the consonant clusters, right? So if you need to practice before this, go back and watch that lesson now. But let's start with number 1. Try say it now. Okay. I will cut up the carrot with a knife. Remember that we don't want to add the extra o's or fu's at the end of it, right? Not carrotto, not knife. You want to say carrot and knife. No extra sounds at the end. Try it one more time. Okay, good. Now go ahead and try number 2. Okay. She took the best picture with her camera. Remember that it's not the Japanese word kamera. You want camera. 2 sounds. Camera. Try it one more time. Okay, good. So now try number 3. Okay. We need to stop the plan before it's too late. Stop the plan. Remember, with the L sound, put your tongue between your teeth. Plan. Plan. Try it one more time. Okay, good. Now go ahead and try number 4. Okay. The man in the black hat asked the question. The man in the black hat asked. Remember that the ending ed for many past tense verbs actually makes a T sound at the end, even though it's spelled ed. So asked, asked. Try it one more time. Okay, good. So that is all for this week. Again, as a reminder, if you ever want to go back and practice or just try out weeks that you have missed, all the videos are available on the YouTube channel. Also, if you can like, comment, and subscribe on these videos, they will help me know to make more videos in the future and also help me know what I should focus on, right? Also, if you have any questions during the live stream, you're welcome to put them in the comments, and if I see them, then I can answer them directly. Or if you put your questions in one of the comments of the previous videos, I will be able to see it, and if you have a question about English, I can correct it for you. All right. So until next time, see you later.